Welcome to Get Your Life. Today I have posted 3 videos with 3 different men who were all on parole, and they were involved in a domestic dispute with their girlfriends. And now all of the girlfriends have admitted to lying. Will this cost them their freedom? Let's take a listen.
Well, basically everything he said was actually true. And that's the same thing I had wrote to y'all, and I had told the other men that I had been talking to about it.
You're still in a relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
Listen to me. This is your statement. While speaking with Mr. Harris, he advised that he got into an argument with Miss Lee, but he never hit her. He advised they began wrestling, and all he did was grab her by the shoulder. He advised that incident took place in the bathroom.
My girlfriend, she come to the courtroom and she basically explained the same thing, that ain't none of that take place.
She did drop the charges.
Let me hear from Ms. Hickman. Ms. Hickman, are you on the line with us?
Yes, ma'am.
What would you like to say to us?
As far as the incident that happened between me and him, I already told everyone that that was a false statement that I made. I was upset that he wouldn't stop cheating on me. When I made that call, he didn't have a firearm. He didn't put.
What is? Oh, there they go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
morning. The parole, we are reconvening. We're at Riverbend Detention Center on Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. It's 9:07 a.m. Good morning, Mr. Malbrough. Is that you?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
My name is Jordan Malbrough. A DOC number is 631-911.
All right, Mr. Malbrough, we're here for a revocation decision this morning. Let me introduce us to you. My name is Cheryl Renanza. This is Mrs. Stapleton to my left. Mr. Freeman is to my right. I'm going to read some information into the record and ask you to enter a plea. But first, we're going to put a form up on the screen. I need you to verify if that's your signature. You stand by, you'll see it in just a second. Can you find this form?
Yeah, we got it.
You got it. Is that your signature dated February 27th of this year? Mr. Malbrough, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's it.
Is that your signature?
Yes, ma'am.
Based on the information contained in that questionnaire, you're not eligible for an appointed counsel this morning. Are you ready to proceed with the revocation hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
And let me recognize, I think we have Ms. Chandrika Jones, who's joined us. She wants to speak on your behalf, and your mother is also trying to connect, I believe. And and we'll hear from her at the appropriate time. Let me read the allegations against you. You're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, specifically condition number 4. And it states, on May 30th, 2023, you were arrested for domestic violence with child endangerment, possession of synthetic marijuana and drug paraphernalia by Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office. On December 12th, 2023, you were convicted possession of synthetic marijuana and drug paraphernalia. The charge of domestic abuse with child endangerment was not processed after the victim signed an affidavit. So how do you plead to violating condition number 4?
That is the domestic violence, or that's the synthetic?
It's all of it. You were arrested for domestic violence with child endangerment, possession of synthetic marijuana, and drug paraphernalia. So
Not guilty.
Not guilty. And then we have condition number 10, which says you have made no payments and are currently $884 in arrears on your fees as of June 6, 2023.
That is true.
So how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
I'm guilty on that.
Okay. Would you answer Mr. Freeman's questions, please?
Okay, Mr. Malbrough, what happened? What went down between you and your girlfriend?
Well, that night, well, she works at a nursing home. She deals with people with dementia and Alzheimer's. And I do know that she got struck by one of her residents at her job. She came home very upset, very aggravated, asked to see my phone. I gave her my phone. She seen different women in the phone, and she told me to get out the home. And I told her I wasn't going anywhere. And she said she was going to call the police. And when she said she was gonna call the police, I up, got my stuff, I left. We were texting, and while we were texting, I told her I was about to come back to the house and apologize. And on my way walking back to the house, that's when the police stopped me, and I did have the synthetic marijuana on me, which I can accept that. You know, I pled guilty to that. And I was never convicted of drug paraphernalia. I was only convicted of the synthetic. The drug paraphernalia was dismissed prior, way before the domestic was dropped. But the domestic, she signed the affidavit like within a week or two when I come to jail. So that's not what got the charge dismissed. Her willing to testify on my behalf, saying that it was all a misunderstanding and she just made the story up. That's what got them to drop the charge completely. And as you look into my records, I've never ever been an aggravated offender. I've never been convicted of a crime against a person or anything of that nature. You know, yes, I have dealt with a drug problem, and I can admit that. You know, and if given another opportunity, you know, I would put myself into a 30-day rehab. I'll go to NA meetings. I'll get a sponsor. I'll do all the things that I need to do to be a productive citizen of society, and better yet, a better man and a better
Back
father to
to
my
this.
kids.
Why
Yes,
did,
sir.
why didn't you do that already? I mean, you got a terrible drug problem.
Yes,
You've
sir.
been every program we have. I looked trying to figure out where I could send you, but you've already been through. I think you've been through Blue Waters and the Concordia, Steve Hall.
I only been through Concordia and the Steve Hall program.
Right, the best we
Yes,
have.
sir. Yes, sir.
And you can't kick your drug habit, right?
Well, I mean, I was sober for the majority of the time I was out, but I end up dealing with some things where I can't make an excuse for me using again, you know, but the triggers, you know, I fell victim to the triggers and I was dealing with a lot going on and that's what happened. I can't, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and deny the fact or anything like that.
Okay. And how long have you been in jail? 9 months?
11 months, next month make a year. And I've been sitting about 4 months, going on 5 months without a charge.
All right. I have no further questions.
No questions. All right, well, let's hear from Ms. Jones. Ms. Jones, would you like,
Yes.
what would you like us to know?
Well, basically everything he said was actually true. And that's the same thing I had wrote to y'all. And I had told the other men that I had been talking to about it.
You're still in a relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the nature of that relationship?
The nature, we still together.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. It is
Mhm.
Miss Bryant. Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, what would you like us to know?
Well, I'm sorry. I have to step out of my classroom. Um, I just think that it my son is not a violent person. Never has been, always been very mild. He has made a lot of mistakes. A lot of it stemmed from uh, drug use, drug abuse, which for a long time I was unable to understand because I'm not privy to it. But since he was 19, he hasn't had a chance, honestly, to live a normal adult life because since the first conviction, it has been, the cycle of drug use, like in jail. So if you're looking at paper, and I know that, the law is the law. I'm not making an excuse. But when you look on paper, it's like, golly, all he does is just, commit all these crimes when really all a lot of it is just drug abuse because, and it's just in my experience, I can't speak for anybody else, but the constant jail time is not rehabilitative. It hasn't rehabilitated him because I don't know if you guys are aware, you can get just as much drugs in jail and you can out. And if that's a person's vice or issue, it's not helping. I do know that he has been in a program when he was probably 20, probably again when he was about 23. I don't know about any other program that he's been in lately. Now, we did try to take him to rehab in October of 20, not last year because he was locked up, 2022, right after he got out. We were taking him to a rehab, but they kept denying us, saying that he needed to be in a mental institution and not in a drug program. We went to two different places. And so with that being said, we wound up going to Ochsner. Then that's when he was actually diagnosed with a bipolar disorder. And so after that, I think that, just the synthetic marijuana use combined with the bipolar disorder, I mean, the chemical imbalance just was too much. But I do believe, and honestly, my son is intelligent, that he can be a productive member of society. I honestly believe he has the means, he has the support. I mean, we're going to support him through this whole process.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you so much for taking time out of your classroom to speak to us. We appreciate it. And thanks for
Yeah,
that.
you hear they're quiet too. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
That's really impressive. Okay. Mr. Malbrough, is there anything you'd like to say to us?
I just accept my responsibility as far as the synthetic marijuana, but honestly, I never touched that woman. That's not even my MO. And I just hope and pray that, God touch your heart to give me another chance so I could just try to do what's right and be there for my children and my mother too.
Okay, here to vote. Mr. Freeman?
Okay, Mr. Malbrough, like stated earlier, I mean, I don't know where I would send you. I really don't. You've had a lot of opportunities in the Department of Corrections. You can't kick that drug problem. You were found guilty of the synthetic marijuana. My vote today is to revoke.
Mrs. Stapleton?
That's my vote also based upon the drug issue.
All right, Mr. Malbrough, my vote today, I'd be willing to give you a shot with some special conditions. That would be, that you do get treatment for your mental health disorder. I think maybe your drug use has to do with self-medicating, maybe perhaps to address some of those issues. However, you received 2 votes to revoke your parole. So the end result of today's proceeding is that your parole is revoked. I am going to request, though, that you do be moved to a facility where you can get some mental health evaluation and help with that issue, which may help with your substance abuse issue as well. But today, Mr. Malbrough, your parole is being removed.
So can I ask a question?
Yes.
I can be revoked on a misdemeanor?
Yes.
I had no knowledge of that.
Off at 9:19. Oh, I'm sorry, we have another one there? Okay, sorry. And Mr. Harris? Can you step out and ask him to send in Mr. Harris?
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to understand.
How you work it? See how you work.
They revoked me of a misdemeanor. Misdemeanor and petty charge, they revoked.
Okay, Mr. Harris, good morning. Your microphone's on mute. Do you see a microphone? You can. That's still on mute.
What about now?
Yep, that's it. That's good. I can hear you. Good, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number, please.
Nicole Harris, 568158.
Yes, sir, Mr. Harris. Let me introduce the panel to you. I'm Cheryl Renatza. Seated to my left is Mrs. Stapleton. To my right is Mr. Freeman. We're here for a revocation decision this morning, and we're going to put a form up on the screen. I want you to verify if that's your signature. Is that your signature at the bottom of that page dated?
Yes, ma'am.
That is your signature.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
So based on that information, your answers to those questions, you're not eligible for appointed counsel this morning. So are you ready to proceed with your revocation hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to read the allegations against you, after which you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. And then Mr. Freeman will be asking you some questions. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You're accused of violating condition number 4, and it reads, you have failed to refrain from criminal conduct as evident by your arrest January 28, 2024 for the charge of domestic abuse battery. That charge was no billed in the 19th JDC. However, officers observed injuries on the victim. So how do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Not guilty.
Then there's condition number 10, which says you have made no payments and are currently $1,008 in arrears on your fees. How do you plead to violating number 10?
I'm guilty of that one, ma'am.
Okay. Would you answer Mr. Freeman, please?
Okay, Mr. Harris, tell me what went on 1/28/24.
It was really just a misunderstanding. Me and my girlfriend, she was trying to get her car fixed, and the guy come over, and he was just trying to charge her money just to look at the car. Instead of, we was telling him what was wrong with the car already, but he tried to charge her $50 to just look at the car. So, me and my girlfriend, well, me and him, we didn't get in no argument. I just told him, like, if you're not gonna fix the car, you can go ahead and leave. And me and my girlfriend, we just went in the house and we had a disagreement because she said I was wrong from telling him that he can leave. But I was basically trying to help her out dealing with the car situation without, I'd rather get the car fixed than to just have it sitting there or a person just coming to look at it. But it wasn't no hitting though. That's why I'm really trying to understand where the injuries come from. Like it wasn't no hitting at all.
But y'all did wrestle? I mean, I
No.
see you said y'all were wrestling.
No, sir. It wasn't no physical contact. That's what I'm not understanding. She was trying.
Listen to me. This is your statement. While speaking with Mr. Harris, he advised that he got into an argument with Miss Lee, but he never hit her. He advised they began wrestling, and all he did was grab her by the shoulder. He advised that incident took place in the bathroom.
No, sir. I was trying to wonder that statement right there. That's why me and the judge, that's why I guess the judge dismissed the charges up in the courtroom. Is because my girlfriend, she come to the courtroom and she basically explained the same thing, that ain't none of that take place.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That does happen. Deputies also observed the bruises on Miss Harris around her neck. She did drop the charges. Haven't y'all had problems in the past? Haven't law enforcement been called on y'all in the past?
No, sir, never.
Okay, you've had any domestic violence problems in the past?
No, sir. I had an aggravated battery. That's what I'm on parole for, but I never had no domestic abuse battery.
Okay. Did aggravated battery involve a woman?
Sir?
Did aggravated battery involve a woman?
Yes, sir, but I basically pleaded out to that. I basically pleaded out to that, but that was a nothing too, but it was just was so much time up on the table that I just took the deal. But you know, it's because I really didn't have no help when it came to the counseling or whatever. So I didn't have no help. So I really didn't know what to do at the time. So I
Okay.
basically
Yeah, okay. Are y'all still seeing each other?
who? Which one?
You and Brittany Lee?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have this my sir, this is my first time I ever was actually doing right. I had a job. I actually just got a house. I you know, I'm just trying to, you know, I ain't been home in years. So I've been trying to build a relationship with my daughter. Like it wasn't me trying to get in no trouble or anything like that there.
Okay, you know, you have a full-term date of 11/18/24. So no matter what we do today, you're gonna be getting out in 6 months. Um, I have no further questions.
Where is Miss Lee this morning?
She was trying to do the Zoom, but she said her phone didn't want to let her download the Zoom app. So I guess she was trying to call. She was trying to call the place. I just got off the phone with her. She was trying to call a place to see how to do it or how to get in touch with it or how to do it. But I guess she ain't make it.
Okay. Anything you want to say to us before we vote?
Yes, ma'am. I just need a chance. Like I ain't give no problems through my whole little time that I've been on parole. I ain't give no time. All I do is go to work and come home. I ain't gonna sit here and try to pull y'all legs or try to, you know, make nothing feel sorry. But I'm just trying to build a relationship with my daughter and, you know, with Brittany child. Like, and I actually been doing a pretty good job. And I just need a good little chance just to try to, you know, make myself better. Like all I'm trying to do is just make myself better to the society. Like it really wasn't no harm or nothing like that there. I just was really just trying to get them to understand that, you know, don't try to get over on her because she a lady, you know, and you trying to charge her $50 just from checking her car out when you're not even your mechanic. You're not
Right.
really even your mechanic.
Okay, well, we appreciate your comments. So,
Oh, she is not registered as a victim. She didn't want to register as a victim. She didn't want to be on you. She just was looking, listening.
okay,
I gave her the Zoom thing where she's watching it.
okay.
Yeah.
She did communicate,
Okay,
was
okay,
able to communicate. I guess she's just watching it this morning.
okay.
All right, I think we're prepared to vote. Mr. Freeman?
Okay, yeah, Mr. Harris, you don't have much longer left. So I want to do something to make sure when you get out, you stay out. Okay. Obviously y'all have had some problems, so my vote today is going to be to do not revoke, but to add the special condition that you attend a domestic violence class.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right, Mrs. Stapleton?
I was gonna revoke you. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
I take a poor view to domestic violence, but I do agree with with Mr. Freeman that the special conditions of you receiving domestic violence classes or seeking out classes. And if you went full term, I don't think these classes are offered in our prison system. It doesn't seem like so. I think that's very valid. So I'm in agreement with Mr. Freeman.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, and Mr. Harris, I do agree. I think you need some domestic violence prevention classes that will help you.
Yes, ma'am.
Continuing to build a relationship with your daughter. So my vote is the same. Do not revoke. Add a special condition that you enroll in and complete the domestic violence prevention program. Your parole officer will help to get you signed up for that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. When I show up to the
Okay, when you get out of there, you need to go straight to the probation office. And
Yes, sir.
they're gonna set you up for that class.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll make sure I complete
So
it.
you go to that class and, don't you mess with Miss Lee unless she wants to.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
Don't
Yes,
you
sir.
bother.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Harris, good luck. We don't want to see you again.
You won't. I
Okay.
appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, that concludes our business there at Riverbend. We're going to sign off. It is 9:32. All right, good morning.
Good morning,
Introduce yourself, sir. Tell us your name and DOC number.
Walden Matthew, 574-434.
Yes, sir. And we have joining us, let's see, my name is Cheryl Renat, so this is Mrs. Stapleton seated to my left, Mr. Freeman seated to my right. Joining us by Zoom, we have Ivory Hickman, who will be speaking on your behalf, and your cousin Nisha Matthew, who's here in observing, in support, just observing. We're going to put a form up on the screen. I'd like for you to verify if you recognize it, and if that's your signature at the bottom of the page. You see that? Is that your signature dated March 1st, 24?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Matthew, based on that questionnaire, that your answers to those questions, you're not eligible for appointed counsel. So are you ready to proceed this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to read the allegations against you, and you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and then we'll have a conversation about it. We'll hear from Ms. Hickman, and then you'll be allowed to make a statement before we vote. Ready? All right. You are accused of violating condition number 3, and it reads, the allegation is that you failed to get permission from your parole officer before making any changes to your address and failed to get written permission to leave the state of Louisiana. How do you plead to violating condition number 3?
I'm not guilty.
There's condition number 4, and that allegation is that you failed to refrain from criminal activity as evidence of your arrest on March 23rd, 2023 in Harris County, Texas, for aggravated assault on a family member, theft, and a warrant for absconding. All charges have been refused due to the victim not wanting to pursue charges. But how do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Not guilty.
There's condition number 5. That allegation is you failed to refrain from owning or possessing a firearm as evidenced by your arrest on March 23rd, 23 in Harris County, Texas for aggravated assault of a family member, specifically a firearm. How do you plead to violate? Not guilty?
Not guilty.
And then there's condition number 6. You failed to provide any proof of employment.
Not guilty.
Then last is condition number 10. You failed to pay supervision fees. You're currently in arrears in the amount of $2,331, and you also owe a $65 processing fee. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Right? So tell us about your arrest in Harris County. What was that all about? Why were you arrested?
I was arrested because me and my girlfriend got into it. Me and her sister, and police was called.
Well, but so what happened?
I was cheating. I was cheating on her, and
Why'd you have
that was the problem.
why'd you have a gun?
I didn't have none.
What was the weapon?
They found the gun, but it wasn't me. I was not convicted of none of that.
Well, let's see. You refused to get out of a car and took out a small handgun. Only way he said He said the only way he was going to leave her alone was if he dies, she dies, and they both die. Mr. Matthew also pointed his gun in the direction of Miss Hickman's sister.
I do. This is my first time hearing that. That's not my statements if that's what they're saying. I never even made a statement.
Now, there were other witnesses to the incident. So were you working?
Yes, ma'am.
Why didn't you provide proof of employment to your parole officer?
My charges happened in Texas. I had relocated to Texas for I don't know which storm, I don't know the name of it. I don't know if it was Gustav or what, but it was in 21. I don't know the name of the storm, but me and my parole officer I talked to him about leaving New Orleans because it was attempts on my life. I came home December 7th. The first day I came home, I was home 24 hours and something happened. Somebody shot the car up and killed the female that I was in car with. So a couple of weeks after that, the same kind of incident happened. And I was telling him, like, this was going on in my life, so I need to, like, relocate to Texas. I have family out there, I stay with him. And he was telling me I had to go through a process and everything. So in the midst of waiting on the process, the storm happened. And when I went out there, my cousin had a job for me already set up, so I just spent out there.
And you never did finish the process, did you?
No, ma'am.
And you never did continue working with your parole officer to get that done?
No, when I talked to him about it, he was like, I had to quit my job and come back to Louisiana. But I was trying to tell him, is there any kind of other way I can pay my fines and fees and just, y'all can just relocate me out of here without doing it? He was like, he didn't know. So during that time, we just was out of touch.
Yeah. Right. Let me hear from Ms. Hickman. Ms. Hickman, are you on the line with us?
Yes, ma'am.
What would you like to say to us?
As far as the incident that happened between me and him, I already told everyone that was a false statement that I made. I was upset that he wouldn't stop cheating on me. When I made that call, he didn't have a firearm. He didn't put me in no immediate danger. He also didn't do anything or say anything. All those charges were dismissed here as well because I did come forward and let them know that I did tell that lie. As far as working, he was working here at a nursing home. The situation with him leaving, I didn't know him then. I didn't find out about all of that until afterwards. But the same story that he's telling is the same story that I've heard. It was 2 attempts on his life. And when he got here and we met, he was already working. He was helping me pay bills. He was helping me take care of children, of my previous children before him. And then we also just had a daughter together as well. And we were getting prepared for that when I made that phone call and started all of this madness. I've apologized to him for all of that, hoping that we can move forward so he can continue to help me raise my children, also be in his daughter's life as well. But everything else, I've already stated that was a lie. As far as he didn't have a firearm, he had keys, a set of keys to my vehicle, which I had a set of keys to them as well. So he had permission to be in the car. He didn't put me in any immediate danger either.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, Mr. Matthew, anything else you want to say to us?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Matthew, the report and the witness statements, other than Ms. Hickman, are not the same story that you and she are telling today. So I'm ready. I'm prepared to vote. My vote today is to revoke your parole. I find you guilty of violating the conditions of your parole. You don't have an opportunity to reapply at such time you're eligible to do so. I encourage you to do that. Ms. Stapleton?
I agree completely.
Mr. Freeman?
I also concur. You were definitely out of state in Texas, which is automatic revocation.
All right, sir. Today, Mr. Matthew, your parole is being revoked. Thank Ms. Hickman for her comments. We're going to sign off from the Orleans Justice Center. It's 10:04 a.m.
Thank you all for watching. I thought this was an interesting topic. These videos were all from the same day, the same parole hearing, and they all were, it's just the same story. You know, when someone is on parole and they're in a relationship, and a bad relationship at that, this is something that is used over their head to, basically either control them, or in some cases, it is true, they are violent. They maybe did put their hands on them, and the police had to be called. And this is something that will affect their lives. They have to go back to prison and serve out the rest of their sentence. But let me ask you, do you think this is right? Do you think they're always lying, or it is the truth and then they decide to take it back because they feel bad, or maybe they received another threat from that person to tell the police or the prosecutor or the judge that they were lying? Comment down below. I would like to know what you think about this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn on your notifications as well so you don't miss the next video.